when we are looking at this phase of the next 2 months, so we're kind of talking about how March through to June is as the epicenter of this decade. 2025 is important, and it's the most important year of this 100-year cycle we're in. And then we kind of contract that through to March and June, where the most change for a century should be happening. So we're looking at high evolution and kind of almost leaping forward into the reality of what a lot of us have been working with anyway and working towards. So it's kind of opening up all of these gateways into the real now. Some people say 3D, some people say reality, but into our known moments. And because we have spent last year really carving out and releasing belief systems that minimize us or compromise our ability to hold other people in sacred space, judgment, fear, reactivity, those kinds of things, and beliefs about our value. Now we have this period which does begin now, so for March, where we have this, to me it's like the great sacred feminine birthing, and we're in the gestation period for what serves us, where the last few months were how do we move out, what are we moving our needs aside for, how are we speaking to ourselves, how are we disempowering or looking at those power imbalances and reprioritizing other people other than commitments like the elderly and young children. But even there, we need to be able to hold this beautiful foundation of ourselves, to be able to serve with love and actual dignity and model that. And this time, we're going to see, and I feel like this a whole month, we're going to see more examples of what we really do and say to contribute to relationship patterns that aren't serving us. So in the past we might have said that person's controlling, or that person's mean, or that person, why do I have this kind of relationship pattern? And now you're going to be able to see what you can contribute, where you diminish yourself, where you maybe set that negative patterns up to fail. And in the positive, you're going to become really graciously, powerfully aware of where you're setting people up to succeed, and where you're making choices about your value. So I feel like for a lot of people, this is going to be a beautiful thing, because you're going to feel a lot more love, because you're acknowledging yourself and what you're receiving and your values. And you're going to be much more gracious about where you might have judged something as lacking or lovelessness. But the clarity is about your evolution. This will not be one of those times where you go, oh, that person plays that game, out of my life you go. No, it's not supposed to be about judgment. It's supposed to be about you going, if I need to get my needs met, what am I doing about that, and how am I communicating? And then I feel like if we move that forward to the middle of the year, hopefully by then we'll have learned how to communicate those things. So you see how there's no pressure for success or solving right now, but it will be an incredible awareness. And I'm quite hopeful that rather than moving into those realities where we, again, judgment, where we decide this is working for me, this isn't, you're going to be able to really bring that into you. As I really want more of this in my day. I really want to learn how to say this, or find out how to ask for this, or I didn't know that me not knowing how to ask for that or prioritize this need or energy choice, I didn't know how much that was affecting my whole day. So there will also be, again, I take it into the denser notes, which is always about deprogramming, where maybe we spend too much time snacking or Netflixing or procrastinating about what our body needs. So you might be more motivated to move that body. Moving your body makes you live longer. That is a reality. The function of our body is movement. We want deep, beautiful rest. And communication. So there will be pieces of that come up. And I'm very excited about it because I'm noticing that its purpose seems to be, how do we really come into our power and be able to go, here's who I am, here's what I offer. And when somebody says, oh, I need this too, you go, that doesn't really bring me to light, so that must be for somebody else to provide. So it is creating a boundary about putting yourself where you're not meant to be. And the way you know where you're meant to be is it feels good. It feels not happy joy all of the time, but it feels productive, it feels powerful. When you've got downtime, when you're meditating, when you're walking the beach, it feels powerful because it's important. And that may be more important than helping somebody move house. On the other hand, helping somebody else move house for another person would be more powerful because support, kinship, physical use of their bodies, these are powerful things for that human. So it'll be different for every person. In the low notes, it would be very easy to be disappointed with some of these realizations that are likely to come up and go, oh, that person doesn't feed me, or that person just isn't capable of serving my needs. Please know this is temporary, temporal, that at this time of life, they may not have that. But they use the terms that are implying it's some kind of feminine birthing, which means as we come out the other side, it's going to open. And so all the feminines and masculines in the world have this. As they begin to open, they'll just have it. So the people who at the moment may not be where you are will be catching up very, very quickly. And it will be quite a beautiful surprise when they do. If I moved that as far as April, it will be quite an awkward surprise for them to be pushed into these realizations, because their realities may be a bit of a shock for them. The truth of some things behind them. And we hear that, the truth being revealed and people being shocked about the reality of how things have actually been. So for some people it first comes that rude awakening. And this is not the time to tell them what to think or feel. You just hold space and go, I know, you'll get through this. It'll be okay. Ask me anything, I'm here. But otherwise, just grieve. Take your time. Come out the other side, because they're going to shed it really quickly. And that's quite nice. So people who may disappoint you in this month may greatly surprise you by the end of the year. Isn't it nice?
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
That
But it's a worry, isn't it, that if we move into that judgment energy of this is not good enough, or I don't like that, or I don't like you, we've created a disservice for ourselves.
Like you said, I felt like I had to shut that door.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't. Maybe like you
Because
said,
it's not a fight, it's empowerment.